Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are. Welcome to the community live stream. My name is Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow, and this is the show that gets you the answers behind the answers on the community. So I go into not only the answers I provide, but why? What is the thought process? What is the reverse engineering? How did we discover that? Join me on this journey for the next hour or so. If you'd be so kind, it's greatly appreciated, and I'll get started. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, which we are about to validate is on YouTube, it's streaming, I'm watching it, it's great, haven't got my alert yet. I can see that, maybe it'll happen as I pop this up. 3, 2, 1, not yet. Okay, we'll check back in a second, but it is out there. Maybe you've gotten yours already. It is working, I hope, fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. We're off to a better start than we were the last couple of days with the feeds. Subscribe to the channel that you see right there. Turn on the alerts and you will get notified if it ever comes up. I'm just curious beyond anything because it's supposed to be working today. Tests yesterday showed that it was. It might just be a little slow. Click the notifications and you'll get notifications. Like the video. If you like it, subscribe to the channel. I encourage you to do that so you can get content beyond just the live stream. But there are other Ask the Expert sessions and lots of great content that comes out in the community as well. So with that in mind, we will be posting this video back to the community and links to all the articles that we cover in there. I also do this on Twitch. Works great as backup plan. We've needed that the last couple of days when YouTube thought it was streaming and it wasn't. Then I went and posted the MP4 later. You can still watch live over at twitch.tv/nowcommunity. I know Steve from Sweden was doing that. Where is that notification? I'm getting nervous now. If you've got something more than just a hello, it says there are 2 watching now. I believe I'm one of them. If you've got more than just that, go over to the community.servicenow, post your question. There are a lot of great communities you can see on the side. If you can't find them there, you can either go down to the part that says all forums or click this little plus right there. I've clicked it a little fast right there on the main community page, and you will see what those are. Get your question in the right place. You have a better chance of getting the eyeballs of an expert on it over at community.servicenow.com. There is gamification involved if you feel a little competitive, you want to say that you're better than your peers or your coworkers or your boss, who knows? See, go for it. There's points involved. It might inspire you as it did me at one time. I also invite you to go over to the developer page at developer.servicenow.com. Check out the blog entries. Dave and Andrew do a great job with their blog entries about new features in New York, what they've discovered. There's meetup events. There's latest releases. You can get early access to the latest release. So we're currently in general availability for New York. If you haven't upgraded your instance in your organization to New York, you can use this as a sandbox. Test it out. See what's new. Practice. If you are on New York, you can still use this as a test bed for ideas, for innovation. And then when you're confident you've got the right solution, you can do the prototype. There we go. Now we got some people joining. Still don't see my alert, but John's on, Dave's on, Carolyn's on. Good to have you joining me. Your confirmation that things are working on YouTube. 2 thumbs up to all of you. So go over to developer.servicenow and get that started. That's part of the reason why I put this little ad space in here at the beginning is to allow you, give you time to join, get those alerts, clear your calendar, if you will. We do this at 2 p.m. UTC each day that I can, barring family, business, illness, that kind of thing. So do this out of the kindness of my heart to share with you the things I've learned and give you new ideas. Also invite you to go over to meetup.com to get more details about where there might be a developer meetup chapter near you. Meetup.com/pro/ServiceNow Dev Program is where you find that. 56 chapters around the world as we record this, closing in on 20,000 developers that are interested in joining us there today. So look for that. You know what? I want to see from the developer portal what's coming up in terms of events. So click the events. We have Minneapolis Meetup tonight, October 10th, if you're watching this. Hope you can join them there. Salt Lake City, same time. Tokyo, as part of the Now at Work. So next week on the 16th, if you're in Tokyo, hope you can make that meetup. It should be a wonderful time. London, same kind of thing. They'll be making that as part of Now at Work. There's a social meetup going on there. Chennai on the 19th, doing that one on a Saturday. So free up your weekend. Good morning. John hasn't gotten the notice either. These are just the regular people that probably have it on their calendar going, hey, you know what? I'm going to watch. Columbus, October 24th. Raleigh, Durham on the 24th. Also, 24th is in Austin. I will be in Now at Work at Frankfurt. There's no meetup there, but Now at Work Sydney, we will have one there. And so join us for Now at Work Sydney and a social meetup. Still got to get that on the calendar. Nashville, DC has Now at Work. I'll be at that one. Minneapolis is later in November. Also coming up in January. Look at how far out Boston is planning. January, first one I've seen of 2020. So you can't be too far planned ahead for my taste. We will be going to the doc site periodically. But in light of that, if you want to find out more events besides just the developer events, we do have webinars. We do have ServiceNow user groups happening all the time. You can find out more about that at events.html over at the ServiceNow page, or just search for events on that main ServiceNow.com page, and you'll find exactly what you're looking for, including all of those Now at Work events. Look forward to seeing you there. One of the events we've got coming up is, of course, our next Tech Now episode, October 22nd. Register at bit.ly/TN69Reg, where Craig and Jeremy and I will be going through Guided App Creator. I just went through one more time to smooth out the walkthrough. I'm going to be building a live application with the help of Guided App Creator and then showing you what you can do to build onto that. So this is intended this is a completely no code. If you are brand new to the platform, you say, hey, I've got an idea. I want to kill a spreadsheet and I want to build that system of record and get started with a little more advanced reporting. Put that into ServiceNow. I'll show you just how easy it is to do in just a few minutes with not just the desktop app, but also a mobile app in just a few clicks. Very, very quick, very, very easy. You can do that. Look forward to seeing you there. Also want to let you know that any code that we write today, any script, any JavaScript that I put into the community or experiment with, maybe it doesn't even get posted back into the article. It might just be, hey, let's try this. Will be posted to GitHub at the link you see there. bit.ly/sn-cls stands for Community Livestream. If you can't remember that, no notification. What's with... Oh, wait, we have a notification. Oh, it's a karaoke song. One of my channels just posted a new video. So crazy how they do that. They're just distracting me. Gets all exciting. All right, we'll have to find out what's going on with the notifications, but you can always socialize it out to your friends. Tweet it, Facebook it, link it. Say, hey, Chuck's live, even though YouTube won't tell you. Maybe they're following you. So that's the code. Go over to GitHub. If you are new to JavaScript and want to get started, there you go. sn-learn-cls over at bit.ly. Learn.js. Nobody knows how to learn this thing. So Learn.js for Learn JavaScript on the Now platform. And you can learn everything from basic syntax up through arrays of objects and looping. It's a great time. Let's get started, shall we? Go over to the community. I'm on the developer community. Couple of notes I want to follow up on first. This is a follow-up from yesterday. So if you didn't watch yesterday, I apologize. I'll catch you up. If you did, then take a drink while we get going. I had a question yesterday. Let's bring that out into its own window so we can read it easily about the schedule, date, time field type. We had a question. It was like, what is this? Why is it? What is it for? They're using this on the financial management, the fiscal calendar table. I don't have ITBM installed on my personal developer instance, but what I did find is under CMN schedule span, there is a field of that type as well. And I left it on the form on purpose. Start date time is of type schedule date time. You can see that there. And it looks like a regular glide date time. But what I found out is it's called start date time. I want to show you something that they discovered for me. Is let's copy the sysID. I'm going to go write a little quick script. Var span equals new glide record. We'll get at the glide record. We'll get at the database this way. CMN schedule span. This is our API, if you're new to this, to get at the record. Span.get. And that just gets the record with that sysID. We could get it a number of other ways. And then gs.info, if I do span.startDateTime.get display value, it will display what we just had in that box. So scripts background, go here, run that, and it says it's going to start at 2007-0101, 8 a.m. Is that what I said? 2007-0101, 8 a.m. But watch this. Pardon me. Hopefully that didn't come across the stream, but if it did, apologize for the sneeze. If we change this from display value to get value, normally what you would see in a get value is a UTC time. So I can prove that by doing get value of sys created on. That is a glide date time field. Let's comment that out for a second. I just want to compare what you would see in a normal get value. You see a UTC value. It's not obvious here, but the time zone is basically stripped off. Everything in the database when it comes to a glide date time or a glide date is stored in UTC. Then when you or the system or somebody needs to display that time, it adds on the appropriate time zone. That's the most convenient way of doing that. However, if you do a gs.info on span.getValue of start date time, watch this. This is what I'm told. I haven't done this yet. Need another parenthesis here. Copy that, paste it there, and run it. Oh, what happened? Get value, start date time. Let's do, that's not what they told me they got. Start equals, here, value. Let's do value equals, so I can tell these two apart. I want to make sure that I didn't just run the same script because I thought I saw the comments in there. Value equals and get value equals. Oh, I did a get value on sys created time. Okay, let's get rid of this. This is, that's why I got messed up. This is get value. All right, get the old example out of there. So I have a display value. Wow, somebody's looking at the screen going, no, Chuck, no. Okay, display value equals the display value one. Value equals the value one. Come back here, put that in there. That's the script I want. Run that, and look what's in here. It's not a UTC time. It's in 4-digit year, month, day, then a letter T to separate the date from the time, hours, minutes, seconds. That's a common format that I've seen on the internet before. It's some ANSI or IEEE thing that I don't recall exactly where it came from or what it's for. I've seen it in integrations from time to time. I believe when you get a date time back from YouTube, it comes back this way. And you can easily parse this and turn that into a glide date time. What I recommend is since you can't compare, I mean, it will sort. If you consider it a string, it is sorted and it will say greater than or less than based on those values. So technically you could do a sort if all you had was these two string values to say, one says 2007-0101, T blah, blah, blah. The other says 2008-0101. You know from sorting those and from basic string comparisons that one is greater than the other. If you want the numeric value, you would have to first get the display value, then you could put that into a glide date time object and do the comparison yourself. That would be very easy to do. And now you can compare glide date time and use all the methods to say, no, add 1 day. Because it would be rather difficult with this if I would say on the 31st of July and wanted to add 1 day to add it to that string. Not exactly easy to do. But if you took that value, got the display value out of that field, put it into a glide date time object and said add 1 day, the question is how do you put it back to this? That would probably take some string manipulation on your part to say, all right, I know the major components. I can get the month, get the day, get the year, get the seconds, get the hours, get all these pieces and just concatenate them back together. I don't believe there's an out-of-box method to do that. So good morning, Rodana. Does this channel ever go over GRC? No, generally, I won't say the channel won't, but this series, the community live stream, generally doesn't. I am not a GRC subject matter expert. I apologize about that. My specialty is in the platform in general, customizations, custom applications, scripting, integrations, that sort of thing. So I go a little deeper into the weeds on some of these, but I don't have the specialty in security operations or anything like that. It's on the roadmap at some point to perhaps get some other people with those skills to contribute. We do have open office hours with Adam Stout for performance analytics and reporting. So he does that as well. I believe it's once a week. Check on that. We also have some other Ask the Experts series that go into these topics as they come up. So those are scheduled. Watch the community for those types of announcements. They're not on a regular basis like this one. So that's my short answer on that. And my follow-up to everything I know now about scheduled date time fields. That was fun. So I already put that response in just before the cameras are rolling, and that's what I know about that. Let's continue on. I'm going to refresh this list, and I moved the microphone, so hopefully the audio is okay. Sounds a lot like yesterday, or it looks a lot like yesterday when I look at the meters. How to parse assessment instance URL and get the accessible type. How to parse the assessment instance URL. Let's find out. I don't do assessments all that much, but I'm creating an email script to build an assessment link to send users. However, the no-code way sends users to the platform. This way is hideous and feels odds. We want to send users to the portal's Take Survey page. I understand that below gets me the no-code required link that does, in fact, link them to the form. That looks like this. So they go to navpage.do. When you say it takes them to the platform, it actually takes them to the classic UI. The whole thing is the platform. I'm just being pedantic here in terminology, but that's okay. Some people call that the back end as well. Like, all right, whatever you want to call this to distinguish it from Service Portal, we're now calling it the classic UI. So I understand the below gets me the no code requirement. That looks like this. We've got instance.nav2.do. This is your generic get me to a navigation page. And the URI that I want to go to is assessmenttake2.do. What you need to do is find out however, no matter how hard I try to get the sysparm accessible type, it renders as undefined. Sysparm. What are they looking for? I don't see, no matter how hard I try to get this sysparm accessible type. Is it you're trying to insert that? Let's find out. Below is the script I last tried to pull it out. Okay. The URL you supplied doesn't have accessible type. Is that what it says? Accessible type. Doesn't have a sysparm accessible type in it. What is the method? Is it glide URI? I have to check. Product documentation, glide URI. Believe it's glide URI on the server side that you can use to take apart the parameter and get different parameter strings. So glide URI scoped. You can get a string. Glide URI is a class utility by handling the URI parameter. The glide URI class is available in the global and scope scripts. Get string name returns a specified parameter. So let's send them that as a possible way. If it did, you could use glide URI to get at the various arguments in the URI. Take a look at that. Technically use glide URI.get. All right. There's a coin for you. Let's keep going. Is there a way to connect to archive rules of one table to another table? Really not strong on archive tables. I know of them, but let's find out what they're trying to do. Hey, I want to set up an archive rule for my incidents, but I ran into a possible problem with checking related items. I want to set it up so that it first looks at the incident, tasks, problems, etc. that relate to said incident and checks to see if they're closed before being able to archive. Is it possible to do with archive rule? Don't know. Let's go learn a little bit more about archive rules. Join me on my journey of discovery. Not sure why that came back with Jakarta. I had it set to New York. Archive rules in New York. There we are. Well, that's searching. If you can script it, you can do it. I don't know if you can script an archive rule. We can also go over to our personal developer instance on tab 4. Archive. I believe we do have an idea in the pool of backlog topics for Tech Now that we are going to do. So let's say change inactive from closed for 9 months. Is there like an advanced? There's a condition. This is in global, so let's switch to global so we can poke around a little bit more. Looks like it's conditional based only. Recalculate estimate, archive related records. Change phase change, change task. Let's take a look at these related records. So related records. Related records can be added to an archive rule, and you can view an estimate of the number of... there you go. I think we found it. Learning every day. All right, I hate reply. Please reply. Take a look at the related records, related list, to create conditions there. Now, will that stop the archive? Let's find out. Let's continue to look for related, archive related records. I don't want to archive related records. I want to use the archive related list regard. Before you begin, navigate from this will also, it just picks them up and runs with them. It doesn't preclude them. Is the word scripting here besides description? No. I don't see a way to do more advanced stuff. How about advanced? No. This allows you to archive the records in there. I don't know if it precludes the main archive rule from running if all conditions are not met. You definitely want to test. Or if it just archives those records that meet the condition. Not the most definitive answer, but point in the right direction. Using wish list for order guides. You have a wish list? I'm playing around with the wish list feature as we have several inquiries to develop a way to do a save as draft on some of our longer catalog item forms. Oh boy, long catalog item forms. Can you imagine if Amazon had long forms? They wouldn't get much business. Think of it that way. However, I do not see an option to add order guide to wishlist. I don't think you can do the whole order guide. When I pull up the order guide in Portal, is there a way to make this happen while remaining out-of-box state? Also, for those using the wish list currently in production, let's go take a look. I haven't played around with this. Go to the catalog, and let's say we want to order a hardware thing, like maybe a laptop. Edit cart, continue shopping. I don't see it. Maybe I need to turn something on. Or do I have to drill into one of these? My bad. Continue shopping, edit cart, order now. Don't see wish list. Let's ask the documentation if we have a wish list. Wish list. Saving catalog items in a wish list. Adding an item, SC wish list cart widget. Is that a portal only thing? Enable the SC wish list cart widget in portal. Interesting. SC list cart widget. Before you begin, you need SP admin or admin. Go to maintain catalogs, find the catalog, enable wish list, click update. Couldn't be easier, could it? So go to service catalog, catalogs. I am in the service catalog. Oops. Maintain catalogs. I missed. Service catalog. Enable wish list. Wow, that was tough now, wasn't it? Okay, does it work for the main portal? Let's put scripts background away. Now back to the service catalog, hardware, Mac, add to wish list. Cool. Okay, so that's handy. If you do an order guide is really just a stack or collection of catalog items. So if we do, I don't remember what it is, new hire, onboarding, something. There's our wish list deal right there. Cool. All right, new hire, is that what it is? That's our popular onboarding catalog, yeah. So describe your needs. I'm the hiring manager. This person is joining. We'll make this up. IT, not a remote employee. What office will they report to is not required. Will your employee need anything non-standard? No. So let's go choose options. And it sticks together these 5, based on the first questions, these 5 catalog items. So don't see a wish list item. Interesting. So external monitor, it sort of defeats that. Huh. Okay. Because if you went into any of these independently, it's not here. Now I can understand the whole save as draft being needed for this situation, because you could have 5, 10, 15 things you need to fill out all at once. Do not see that. Huh. As of New York, it looks like this isn't supported. As of New York, I don't see support for the wish list on the standard classic UI or portal. It's only on individual items that it appears. I'm just going to double check catalog order guide wish list. Taking a flying leap on the search here. See what happens. SC wish list. Wish list enabled for cart widget available in service portal. Order guide submit. There's nothing in there about it. We already looked, right? Did we? We didn't look. Wish. No wish found on this. That's called a wish sandwich. I'm going to invite them to create an enhancement request. I love that idea. I think it makes total sense. Total sense. Onwards. Let's refresh the page. We're at the bottom of the hour already. Wow, time flies. And I've got a topic for you if you're interested in integrations. Let's go to unreplied. Oh, we have one reply. Before we dig into a new topic, let's see what conversation we can keep moving forward. And that is the URI. SharePoint AU has responded back about the assessment thing that I commented on earlier. So are you saying the one I supplied that is out of the box, HTTP instance blouses? Yes, type ID. The sysparm accessible type is what I need to build the URL to send our users the correct place. Let's provide it out of the box. Should allow me to use Glide URI. Could you explain how that would help me get my users to... You got to go from navpage.do What's the correct place he's trying to go? He's trying to go to... He said he wants to go to IT question mark ID take survey type ID. Oh, okay. Let me map these parameters of what he's got. There's the assessment type. There's the accessible sys-ID. Not sure. You can use glide URI to get at the various components of the URI provided in the classic UI. I don't know how they map to the service portal version, AG/IT question mark ID equals, because you need, wow, that looks like a password almost with that many symbols and stuff. There you go, a new password, /IT question mark ID equals parenthesis. Have different parameters to the widget. Parameters to the UI, the assessment UI page and assessment, and what was it, take survey? There's assessment take 2. The other one he wanted was IT take survey. Okay, I see CB54 here, but I don't see a CB54 there. Oh, there it is, CB54. So the accessible type maps to the type ID, but I don't see the accessible sys-ID. Let's see. So we can include that. The accessible, the ID provided to accessible type appears to map to the accessible type. That was the CB54. Maps to the sysparm accessible sys-ID. Sysparm accessible sys-ID. I think it was just one word, but I don't know about the other ID for the accessible type. Wow, this really gets nasty. Oops. The sysparm accessible type maps to the type under ID. Don't know about this one. Type under ID. Try that again. Type ID in the portal widget. Don't know about... Sorry about this, taking a little longer than I thought. That mess. What you would do with that. Or if it's needed, try manually building the URL with your hands before testing this with a script. If it works the way you want, then you can script it. Glide URI is going to be your friend. I've taken many URIs apart and put them back together. Okay, that's that conversation. Moving on. Custom event queue cannot be implemented in scoped application as scheduled jobs cannot be included and pushed to GitHub. I beg to differ. I do it all the time. If I read that right. Custom event queue cannot be implemented in a scoped application as scheduled job under system schedule scheduled jobs. Scheduled jobs cannot be included in and pushed to GitHub. I followed the steps described here, but it does not capture the changes. What was he following? is in an exercise. Save your scheduled script and events at work. You made the changes in Studio. In commit changes after the commit, schedule jobs and events. Okay. Have you tried creating the scheduled job in Studio? You tried doing the scheduled job in a flow is another question. I've created events in the registry and scheduled jobs all the time and had no problem with GitHub. No problem with GitHub. Let's go test that now. I'm on New York in my personal developer instance. Going to bring up Studio and pick on my favorite CLS 528 application. It has a bunch of random components in here. In amongst here is an event registry event. X underscore whatever it is. CLS run script. I should be able to go to, I don't even know if I'm logged into GitHub. And I'm not. And I've got two-factor turned on. We're having a problem with you. Let's try this. That is my username. What are you talking about? I'm not signing up. I'm signing in, crazy people. Authentication code. Here we go. No. There it is. And that's good for about 3 more seconds, so you don't know my password and I'm safe. And if I go to whatever my 528 one was, there it is. Nope, that's Mission to Mars. Why do I not have my repositories? Did I not link this to GitHub? I did not link this to GitHub. There's part of the problem. Notice that the icon down here in the lower corner is like a plug and socket that are separated. If it were put together, it would work fine. So let's fix that. Go to GitHub, create a new repo, and call it CLS 528. It's all we need to do. And that's good enough for me. Okay. But what I will need is my two-factor key. How am I going to get that without jeopardizing my security? Let's do this. I am going to, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Studio. I'm going to link this on a different computer. So pardon me while I turn my head a little bit. Due to security, I'm not going to jeopardize this. Get back on GitHub. Get back on my developer instance on another machine. Just reenacting what I just did. And just created a new repo. Where is it? I did create that, right? Yes. There it is. Okay, so I want to copy that URL. I need something out of a keyboard vault. Password vault, password vault, password vault. Where are you? There it is. Okay. And on my personal developer instance, I'm going to log in. Log in. Just catching up to where I was before. Bring up Studio. The CLS application. Now, what I'm doing is going under source control, link to source control, and I'm going to paste the URL in there that I just copied from GitHub. Okay, but also paste in my super secret password that you can't see. So I need my GitHub URL, copy, paste, and click link to source control. And it goes ahead and pushes that stuff up. I would show you, but then I'd have to, I suppose I could have done this to GitLab, but that wouldn't have been an accurate representation. That's the only problem with two-factor is you got to have a super secret password. that nobody else can see. So at this point, I should be able to do a refresh on this screen. And now this icon has the thing pushed together. And my source control menu has some different options on here. Furthermore, my GitHub repo should have some content in it now, which it does. We have these various folders and files. Do not modify these manually or you will have a problem. There is a checksum file that keeps track of all this stuff. So if it doesn't match, it's not going to match. But what I can do is look at it. And in here, I have my sys event register record. And this is just XML like you'd see if you did a show XML on this record. So if I went into Studio and said, show me the event registry for this, and did show XML, pardon the background noise if you hear that, that should look an awful lot like that. So I can look at these things. There's not a problem getting the registry entry up there. If I want to know about a scheduled job, I go back to wrong instance, Studio, that's not it, wrong events. I do not have a scheduled job at the moment, so I'd say create server development, scheduled script execution, and call this sample script. I'm going to run it whenever I darn well feel like, on demand, and it's not going to do anything. This comment is copyrighted. Why not? All right, I made a script. Woohoo! And it shows up under scheduled script executions over here on the left. Now, I have something that's different than what's in source control, so I want to commit. Ooh, it's not recognizing it. I thought it did. This is new. This is new. Why doesn't it allow you to put those up? I know originally these didn't appear in update sets, but if you went through Studio, they do. Interesting. I wonder if it's still the same issue, that it's not recognized in Git because it's not recognized. So here's the deal. There is a table attribute that says, should I be part of that? Let's go look at sysupdate.xml. Sysupdate.xml.list, change by created. I've got catalog, I've got form. Let's take a look at the application that's on there. I probably have it, but I can't see it. Did I put the application global, customer reference? Not in here. Huh. Got my service catalog stuff from earlier. Wow. So it's known to the application, but it's not known to an update set, and it's not known to Git. Crazy, man. How do I know it's known to the application? Because if you go to sysapp.list and I find my CLS 528, I can look at the application files that are under here, which include all the form layouts and you get the idea. Somewhere in there, I need to add like a date updated. It is in there. Why am I not seeing it in the list? There it is. So let's sort by date updated, Z to A. There's my script execution. When I push this into the app repo and publish it and install it on another instance, it'll work. So to that end, the app repo is better than an update set because it's not being captured by sysupdate.xml. However, some of you may be aware of the UI action available called force to update set. That may work. I'm not going to install that here, but I'm going to tell you another option. I don't know why scheduled jobs have never been part of update sets. It's always puzzled me. It may be because you want things to run differently on dev than you want them to run on prod. That seems like, I don't know, kind of a sad excuse. But it does. I've found more value in having them as part of the update set than not having them as part of the update set. And I don't want my developers to try and remember to use some add-on UI action every time. What I'm going to do is, you should do this with great caution, is I can't remember the name of the table. So what I'm going to do is go into Studio and say, configure dictionary. And because I am in, it's sysauto script. I am now in global. I switched it on the other screen. I'm not in global. I'm going to take this URL and paste it out here, and I should get my record. Okay, I am in global, so it's editable. This table needs an attribute called update sync. It says false. This is forcibly turning off the update set. The absence of this attribute or setting it to false says do not capture records on this table in your update set. If you change this to true, it will then do that. So the update attribute cannot be added by system dictionary entry unless your maint. Ooh, they really cranked this down hard. You cannot change that. That's disappointing. I am going to add that to my list of things to ask product managers why we don't capture these in update sets. Don't know when I'll have an answer, but I am certainly going to ask because it has been wondering me for the last 10 years. Yes, that's a new way of saying that, wondering me. Did I answer this question? I don't know. I just tested this and found that while it's grabbed as part of the application set, e.g. publish in the repo, it's not part of the update set and hence not part of the GitHub push. I'm going to talk to the developers about this. As an alternative, have you thought about using a flow in Flow Designer instead of a scheduled job? Okay, that might be a better alternative. I've seen a lot of situations now where people are doing things in scheduled jobs that could be done in Flow. It's easier to build, it's easier to maintain, it reads clear, it gets captured in all these different places, so you don't have to go through this craziness of exceptions on there. All right, it is almost 10 to the hour, and I want to cover one topic that I learned earlier this week from Josh Narius. Some of you may know him from Live Coding Happy Hour. He used to be work on the developer evangelism team. Now he's part of the product development team for, he's the product manager, product manager for Integration Hub, and showed me a site that can help with outbound integrations. There's times, whether it's in Flow Designer through Integration Hub, or you're doing this scripted, and you want to know what is actually happening on the receiving end. So let's say you've got an endpoint of LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, some REST API endpoint, and you're saying, what are they receiving? Why is it saying I'm having a problem with a header or a URI parameter? There's a great site called Beeceptor, BEECEPTOR.com. Just how it looks on the screen. I'm going to make that a little bigger so we can see. And what you do is you put in an endpoint. Okay, and I'm going to call this CLS 528, just for fun. Create this endpoint. It says, okay, if you want to do a curl command, it would look something like this. You can put in your endpoint and some values, and I'm going to do that from here. Let's get rid of the quotes. We do need the quotes in there. So there's my endpoint. Here's some header and some value. You could put in data. This is a get command. So let's just try running this on the command line. All right, open up a command line. Apologize, it's kind of small. And I get back output. Let's copy the output. Wow, because I put in verbose. I will definitely place this into the editor so you can read it at home, because I can barely read that right now. This is what I got back. Okay, it sent off, it said, I'm trying this, I connected, I sent all this cool information because the -v made it. Hey, great to see you there. By the way, nothing is configured for this request path. Create a rule, connect to this left intact. What did that get me? On the client side, I know that it was sent. But if I go to bscepter.com now, I see that I hit this path and I can find out more detailed information about what was in the request body, what was in the headers. So here's my user agent. Here's what I accepted. Here's my sum header, sum value. So I can see what's on the URI as well as what's in the headers. That matters sometimes because if you put in an API key or you obfuscated some information with a password to field so that it's secure up until the time it leaves ServiceNow, it's kind of hard to debug. Am I using the right key? Is this correct? You could always temporarily change your endpoint to this bscepter and go, now I can see what the receiving end is getting. I go, oh, that's not the right key, or I spelled authorization wrong, or I forgot the bearer word, or something like that. So very easy to use. If I were to do something like this in, say, Flow Designer, let's do that just for fun. Let's create a new file and say flow. Did I pass right by it? Flow. And we'll create a new flow called sample rest. Put this into my CLS 528 application. Don't worry about the trigger because I'm not going to trigger it ever. I'll run it whenever I run it. Sure, that sounds good. Yes, I said 7 a.m. Done with the trigger. Now let's go to, we need to save that because I want to build an action. And I'm going to build an action that says test my API. I'm going to put this in the CLS app as well, which has no icon and it has no categories, so I really don't care. I am in the Action Designer where I can build custom reusable blocks of content. We've done this before on Live Coding Happy Hour. I don't necessarily need an input to this action, but what I do want is to, I don't have Integration Hub enabled. This is going to be a short demo. Let's take a different approach then. Okay, had I done that, let's close that out and I'm going to, let's do an outbound integration. So let's do outbound integration, REST message. This would be pretty quick. Call this bscepter test. I can do a bscepter test. My endpoint will be what I had here. How do I get back to my, well, there it is. There's my endpoint for that. I have to find my, there. There's my endpoint. My authentication, I'm going to leave it as no authentication for now. I could use an authentication profile for this, but what I want to do is save that as my REST message. I need to put in a REST method. It created a default get for me. Let's just change that for fun to post. Post a message. And endpoint is still going to be the same. We could add on additional path parameters if that's what our API CLS 528 post a message. Whatever you need to send to that service on the other side is what we're going to put in here. Authentication I'm going to leave as none, inherit from parent, or I've got lots of options. In my request, I could use a mid server, put in, yes, I understand. Headers. So let's say authorization would have bearer and then some token. Okay, fun token there. We could also put in content type is another common one. application JSON. You get the idea. Query parameters, I may need things like API or key. Here, Q. Sometimes when you're searching, it's just Q. And it says community. I could have another one that says S. Very poorly named parameters, but I'm not making this up. So you'll get these from your REST service. S is 5100. I don't know what that means, but it's fun. And then the body content would go down here. Now, here's where it gets fun, because you could say name is, and then I believe you put in $curly brace name. You can add in some variables. Location, we'll put one in as static, just to make sure this works. Save that. And in the related links, I now have auto-generate variables. It's going to go through the URI, the headers, the payload, find any of these curly brace things, and say, oh, that's a variable you're going to need. So I will create one for you. Here is name. Our test value will be Chuck. Very handy for testing these things. I built out, this is what I want to send to the other end as a test. Again, this is all still just configuration. I haven't really coded anything at this point. And I can put in variables to say, let's test it where the name is Chuck. Let's test it where the name is Mark. Let's test it where the name is Jeannie. You could do these various things. You could make your API key a variable rather than hard coding it into that header. Let's test it out. And we went out to bScepter. We got a 200, which is good. We like 200s or 201s. It sent out the query parameter Q and S. There's my payload content. And I got back a response. Okay, not JSON or anything else. Go back to bScepter. And I should have, oh, your endpoint is, where is my second hit on that path? Click here to simulate a web browser. Did I not hit it? Okay, looks awesome. Let's try it again. I probably had a bad timing thing in there. Not that screen, that screen. Go back from my test results to my test. Test. Love doing this with building up REST APIs a little at a time. I tested it, it worked. bScepter says, yes, here's what you got. Let's take a look. This was your request body that you sent me. Good, that looks like what I intended to send out. The headers include the authorization and the content type, but there's also some other ones that I did not include. XSNC integration source. Probably the REST message. Let's see, it ends with 619F3. I'm going to say that's probably the REST message, or excuse me, the REST method. Copy sysid is probably going to be, not that one, that one. 61953. Is that what I said? 619F3. Okay, it's not that. If it's not the REST method, then it's more likely the REST message. I'm just curious what that number is and where it comes from. This is how we learn. We get curious. Copy sysid. Nope. All right, now I don't know what that number is. I'm even more curious. Can't solve a mystery. That's how we learn. We say, that's strange. But bscepter.com is a really interesting way to look into what you are sending, and verifying what you're sending is what you expect to send. Sometimes things sneak in on the header that you don't expect. This is why I called up Josh the other day and learned about bScepter. I was putting something in the URI as part of one of the query parameters, and because of the way I was doing authorization, it was sticking in the authorization header and screwing things totally up. I said, I didn't do that. He says, oh, well, I need to look into that. It's not supposed to do that. So that's where I'm going to leave you all today. I appreciate you joining. Something should have happened on the camera, but it didn't. So let's go this way. Oops. Cancel. Somebody hit the wrong key and made something go crazy. Now my keys are off. No, they're not. All right, I'm going to sign out this way. Everybody have a great day. Take care. And with any luck, I'll see you tomorrow. And code safely. Have a great day. Bye.